Hello, my name's Simon Walker. This is my week 6 Coursera assignment, and I'm going to be giving the examples of how to do modulation using the LFOs and how that will affect this synthesizer. I'm using Omnisphere 2. It's a really powerful synthesizer. This is a folded sine wave that's set up. You can manipulate the shape of it there. What I'm going to be looking at is the modulation section, which is over here, which deals with LFOs and how you route them. So if I go in here, you can see I've got an LFO set up and where that LFO is targeted. Just to deal specifically with the directions of that, so you can actually use effectively anything to control anything. So in this, I could use LFO 5 to control LFO 3, for example, the rate or the depth of it. So I could use anything to target anything. And I've set up 4 specific LFOs here for this one. That's just a normal sine wave. I've got a rounded square wave. I've got a sawtooth, and I've got a reverse sawtooth. And the reverse sawtooth I've actually synced to the BPM that's running in Ableton Live. First thing I'm going to do is new modulation, LFO 1, and the first one I'm supposed to look at is pitch. So that's here in oscillator. That's LFO 1, just set up as a basic vibrato. It's a rounded square wave, much bigger, variation in pitch. LFO 3, this is set quite slowly. Sounds more like an alarm. So there we go, so that's pitch adjustment using LFOs. The next one that I have to do for the assignment is using it to adjust the amplitude, the amp setting. It's quite a gentle setting, just a pulse. You can see that's pretty much a gentle on or off. And again, you can turn that into quite a fast. This can all be synced to the BPM. It can just turn into quite a fast pulse. LFO 3. So that's got a kind of gentle surge going on there. The sawtooths, you can really imagine the LFO sawtooths being used in dance music quite a lot. And LFO 4. You can definitely hear that one. Just going to slow that down. That sounds pretty cool. And note as well, you can adjust the depth. So it's only a small pulse or really, really pronounced. So that's how you control how much the LFO is doing by controlling the depth of the LFO. So there we go. So that was amplitude. The next one I'm then going to have a look at for you, go back to LFO 1, is I'm then going to look at the filter. You can use LFOs to control cutoffs. This has got a really big impact in synths, so just going to show you that here. The thing to remember as well is you can control, notice how if I'm moving the cutoff control for the filter, it's also adjusting, they're linked together. So just going to hold a note for you there. So you can hear a nice gentle sound. LFO 2. LFO 3. And again, I'm just going to adjust rate. That's exactly what I was talking about. And you can have a really slow, expanding filter. So there we go, that's how you do the filter. That's the cutoff frequency of that filter. I'm going to go back into, if I set LFO 3 back on amplitude, I'm going to go back into this direction area here. I'm going to select LFO 5, which was just a basic sine wave, and I'm going to select it to target the LFO 3 rate. Right, so I'm just going to give you an example now of LFO 5 affecting LFO 3. So you can see I'm controlling LFO5 here, but the sound is actually being controlled by LFO3, so I can adjust the depth of how LFO5 is behaving, and I can also adjust the rate of what LFO5 is doing. So we've got almost a pulse there. So you can see now it will start to then get faster as it goes up the other side of the sine wave. And now I'm not doing anything, that's just the LFO, and now it's just going to slow down in a second. Now it's slowing down because the sine wave's slowing it down. So there we go, that's how you can use LFOs to control other LFOs, that's how you can use them. This has got massive implications in dance synthesis, in creating beats without actually using any percussion instruments. There's a whole range of things that you can use these to do, and they're all fully automatable, and they can all control each other. Thank you very much, and that was my week 6 assignment.